Abu Nawasi was a very clever man and he liked to make people laugh. He was very popular and also the king's favorite. But some people did not like this at all. They were always thinking of ways to get Abu Nawasi in trouble. One day one of them went to the king and said, "Your Majesty, have you heard the latest news about Abu Nawasi?" "What is it?" the king asked eagerly. "Well, some say that Abu Nawasi has secretly learnt art of building a house in the sky. He says he will build a house for himself and not for anyone else, not even for a king." The king immediately summoned Abu Nawasi. Then he told him, "We order you to build a house in the sky for us. If you refuse to do it, we will banish you from this kingdom. And don't come back again till you have built this house." Poor Abu Nawasi, what could he do? He thought and thought. Then he went to the market to make purchase for the house in the sky. He bought bamboo sticks, very thin paper, pots of colors and brushes. Then he cut and painted the shapes to look like walls. He then prepared a huge box kite in the shape of a house using these shapes. He tied tiny bells to the kite. Late in the afternoon the next day, Abu went to the king's palace and flew his kite. The kite soon rose high in the sky. Abu then tied the string of the kite to a tree. The wind was strong and steady, so the kite kept floating in the sky. Abu then went back to the king and said, "Your Majesty, I am glad to say that I have built the house you ordered. It is almost ready. Just one thing remains." Abu Nawasi took the king to the balcony. Then he pointed to the kite. "That's the house." The king was really amazed. He stood rooted to the spot and watched. "Can you see those windows, Your Majesty, and the lattice?" Abu Nawasi went on pointing. "Just one thing remains. My men have almost finished, but they need a few more boards for the roof. Can you hear the bells? That is the signal for sending the boards." Abu Nawasi went on. "I am short of boards and workers, Your Majesty. I need your kind help to finish the house. Can you help, please?" So the king ordered men to get the boards and take them to the workers in the sky according to Abu Nawasi's instructions. Abu Nawasi took the king's men all the way down the palace corridors, the palace gardens, palace gates to the open land. There he took them to the spot where he had tied the kite to the tree. Now all that the king's men could see was just a tiny string with one end tied to the tree and the other end going up to the kite. They didn't know what to do. Then men decided to go back and tell the king what had happened. So they all went back. The men reported to the king how Abu had asked them to climb the thin string. "How can we climb a string, Your Majesty?" "You are quite right," the king said. "No one can climb up string to reach the sky. It's impossible." "In that case, Your Majesty, how can I possibly build a real whole house in the sky?" asked Abu Nawasi. When Abu Nawasi explained how he had built and flown the kite, the king laughed so much that tears rolled down his cheeks. From that day on, the king too enjoyed making kites and flying them. The king and Abu Nawasi spent many happy evenings together, flying kites of different shapes.